My name is Gino da Campo. I'm a chef born and raised in Italy. Oh, I wish you could smell this. For Italians, the most important thing in life is food.
It's wonderful.
And I believe that is the best way to discover Italy. So I'm so excited to be back on my travels, tasting and touring my way around two of Italy's biggest islands, Sicily and Sardinia. Both are bathed in sunlight and famous for their coastline, and each have a different culture and cuisine at their hearts. My first cannolo! So join me as I explore the wonderful sights, traditions, and of course, the mouth-watering food that these Mediterranean islands have shaped. Welcome to my Italian escape. Over the next 6 weeks, I will be exploring two very different islands. The bowl to Italy's boots, Sicily is the largest island. A fiery land, Mount Etna's volcanic soil produces first-class wine and citrus fruits. It's also home to world-famous street food, the mafia and a sweet tooth. And then Sardinia, the jewel in the Mediterranean, where I will be traveling and tasting my way from top to toe, experiencing how the locals still live a very rural way of life, using the sea and the mountains to produce delicious dishes made from simple ingredients. Deliciousness at its best, trust me. Both islands' cuisine will be at the heart of my journey. I'll learn about their iconic national dishes and show you how you can achieve them at home. It's going to be an adventure full of memorable moments. My journey begins in Sardinia, my home from home for the past 3 years. I love these open, winding roads, and they are still surprising me at every turn. What the... Cool, look at that. It's actually an elephant. See, I wasn't joking when I say it's surprising. This looks cool. The body, the nose. Now this is definitely deserves a selfie. Now I'm going to kiss the elephant. Done. Well, I wasn't expecting that. And discovering and trying new things is what my journey is all about. And that includes food. Sardinia's culinary culture is divided into food from the sea and food from the land. On the coast you eat fish, inland you eat meat. There is very little crossover, but farming is the main way of life. In fact, there are more shepherds than fishermen in Sardinia. On the farms, the most important animal is the pig, because here they can cook it fresh and also preserve it for later. It's so important that the national dish is suckling pig, or sopoceddo. It's like the ultimate hog roast and is eaten on special occasions. Tonight, I'm hosting a party for my closest friends, so it seems only right to have it on my menu. I'm so excited because I'm cooking it for the very first time. As I always say, the best Italian meals are created with the best ingredients. Here you can go in the supermarket or you can go to your butcher to get your meat, but I prefer to go to the farm because I know that I'm gonna get something that is fresh and is gonna taste 100 times better. Nestled in the hills all over this beautiful island are working farms with restaurants known as agriturismos. Each one can specialize in just one product, but all of them serve only what they have grown or reared themselves. I'm on my way to this particular farm now, which is very well known in this area because they have the most amazing and beautiful meat ever. This farm has been in Alessandro and Erika's family for 5 generations.
Erika?
And they have made a name for themselves by rearing top-grade pigs.
Hey.
Ciao, Gino.
Ciao, bella.
Dai.
Mua, mua, bene. Che bello sono.
Luckily for me, Erika has promised to share her foolproof recipe for making Sardinian hog roast.
A suppuccetti is the one that you guys put under the ground, you make the hole with a fire. I've always wanted to cook the suppuccetti. It's something that since I was a little boy, I wanted to experience how you do it. And I got a party tonight. Are you gonna come?
Of course.
But I don't have the time to put, to start to make a hole under the ground. Can I just, cook it in the oven or under the grill?
No, no, no. You should put it on the open fire.
Just an ordinary open fire?
Ordinary, yeah.
Fantastic, because I got a big fireplace. I'm gonna do the fire and I'm gonna put it there.
The Sardinians are very proud of this dish and will put a lot of thought into how it's presented, even before it's cooked.
This is what I'm talking about. Beautiful. Look at that.
But don't forget the myrtle leaves when you cook it.
Why do I need to use myrtle leaves?
Because it's very important to follow the tradition.
But do I need to put the myrtle leaves when I cook it or after?
After.
After. Okay, so I need to serve it just like this?
Yes.
Ah, okay. Now I just want to ask him a couple of questions in Italian to understand about the piglets. Alessa, questo cos'è, la femminuccia?
Sì, decisamente femminuccia.
Perché?
La carne rimane più tenera, più dolce.
He said this one here is a female one, and it's very, very important to choose a female one because the meat is sweeter and it cooks much better. È bellissima. Eh?
Buying fresh meat like this is a very cost-effective way of serving loads of people, and it's what the locals do.
Are you okay? I'm gonna put a seatbelt. I guess you don't need a seatbelt. You're okay. I'm excited though. It's gonna be great. Open fire, myrtle leaves everywhere. Are you excited? It's okay, you don't have to answer back. You know what? You are the only girl that I had in the car that actually is not talking. I quite enjoy this.
And the setting of my Sardinian festa is here, at home in Olbia, which is my island base. For 298 years, Poceddu has symbolized the traditions of Sardinia, and my closest friends from the island will know this dish very well. I better get it right.
Now, the first thing we're gonna have to do is very simple, is to try to butterfly the piglets. You need to use a hammer, okay? And then you go with a sharp knife in the middle bone of the pig. Now, what do I need is this, my D'Artagnan swords. Look at that. I had it made myself. You got a handle, you got a cross on the bottom, and then what I put a stick that it comes from my vineyard. Okay, so now what I have to do is to make sure that I put one of the stick in the front so I can hold the front legs, and this one is gonna hold the back one.
To keep the meat in position, just use some wire to secure it to the frame. And yes, you too can buy whole pigs in the UK. They will come ready prepared, so you don't have to do all these fiddly little bits.
Now guys, of course, if you don't have an open fire like this and you still want to replicate this recipe, don't panic, because the only thing you have to do, open the piglets again, just the way I showed you, put on a nice tray into the oven, high temperature at the beginning, then lower the temperature and cook it for about 3 hours. only thing we have to do to put a little bit of salt on the skin just to create the crackling, and then the job is done. So I'm using normal sea salt, will do the job, to be honest with you. Put it like this.
Whatever you do, do not put salt underneath the meat, as it will dry it out.
Now, I know that Erika said not to put anything except salt, but I think a little bit of myrtle leaves inside, the flavor is gonna be like, wow.
Myrtle leaves grow everywhere in Sardinia, favoring the warm climate, and they have a spicy, aromatic flavor. If you can't find any, then rosemary is an excellent substitute.
So, the only thing that I have to do, put on the open fire.
Once the pocheddo is on the fire, remember to turn it every half an hour to make sure it is cooked evenly over the 3 hours.
Beautiful.
With the meat on, it won't be long before my guests arrive, ready to try my first attempt at the national dish. And tomorrow will be full of new experiences when I get back on the road to discover more hidden gems of Sardinia. I can't wait! I've been preparing a magnificent Sardinian hog roast. My closest island friends have just arrived to taste my first attempt at the national dish. There is only one way to kick things off: a cheeky glass of Prosecco. The meat will be ready in an hour, just enough time for me to work on the finishing touches.
With my pocheddo, there is only one thing I'm going to serve, and it's roast potato with roasted vegetable. But one thing that I absolutely love is this one. A beautiful tin foil tray. Okay, this is my new best friend because I put everything in here in the oven. I don't have to do any washing up or anything like that. Just crunch everything away and throw it in the bin. So where do we start? With the potato. I'm not going to cut them. I'm not going to do anything. Rosemary. Okay, with the rosemary, very simple. I'll just scrunch everything together, break it, little pieces, small pieces, it doesn't matter. Then, extra virgin olive oil, give it a good drizzle, and salt. And it's important to put loads of salt because it's gonna make the skin nice and crispy. Then your hands goes in there and enjoy the massage with the potatoes. I'm going to start to cook this one at 190 degrees for 20 minutes and then chop up some veg and mix everything together.
If you thought the potatoes were simple, then this is easy peasy. Take the potatoes out of the oven and add roughly chopped red onion, courgettes, red and yellow peppers and white chicory to the baking tray. Add a dash more olive oil, then pour back in the oven for another 30 minutes, and they will take on the lovely saltiness of the herby potatoes. This is what I would serve with any barbecue. As I always say, minimum effort, maximum satisfaction. It's traditional for guests to bring a starter or antipasti. So we have cold meats, cheeses, the local wine Cannonau, and another local specialty called zuppa gallurese, which is a savory bread and butter pudding that has been soaked in meat broth before being cooked. It's delicious. So while my guests tuck into the antipasti, it's time for me to assemble the star dish on my menu, the pocheddo. And it's super simple.
I have to admit, the smell is absolutely incredible.
While the meat rests for 10 minutes, the roasted vegetables and potato are tipped onto the already prepared serving board with those all-important myrtle leaves.
I think they're going to be super happy with this. Look at this, crispy outside, nice and tender inside. Perfect.
Look at how easily you can cut the meat up. Arrange all of it with the vegetables on the serving dish, and there you have it. Now, is my culinary honor still intact?
Ecco qua ragazzi! Buon appetito!
As my guests tuck in, Erika from the farm delivers her verdict.
Wow, you did it perfect.
10 out of 10?
10 to 10.
Yes. Thank you.
Not bad for a boy from Naples. Well, I think I can safely call this a success. Clean plates and full bellies all around. An early night should probably be in order. Tomorrow, my adventure continues.
Good luck on your travel in Sardinia. Salute!
Grazie, salute! Salute, salute, salute!
Sardinia is known for its coastline. The most famous being right on my doorstep, the Costa Smeralda. But instead of hitting the beach and topping up my tan, I'm heading west along the northern tip of the island. Just under 2 hours away from Olbia is Alghero. Originally a fishing village, it's one of Sardinia's best preserved medieval towns. What makes it fascinating is its mix of Italian and Catalan cultures. A hangover from when it was conquered by the King of Spain more than 3 centuries ago. With its walled city features, narrow streets and impressive marina, it's no wonder the Spanish nicknamed it Barceloneta, or Little Barcelona.
See, this is what I wanted to see. Italian signs and Catalan signs.
Even today, I can see Spanish influence from the bilingual street signs, architecture, and of course, what I'm really interested in, the food. And that's why I'm going to this restaurant, as it serves Catalan-inspired Italian food. Head chef Simone and his wife Federica are passionate about Catalan cuisine, the perfect people to tell me all about it, and of course, to let me taste it.
So why is Alghero so linked to the Catalan cuisine and, of course, the Spanish influence?
Because 5 centuries ago, the King of Aragon conquered Alghero, and this is why. So we have 2 different kinds of Catalan food, the poor food, okay, and the rich one.
So what is the difference between the poor cuisine and the rich cuisine?
Okay, poor food is characterized by pasta with sea urchins, bogamari.
Bogamari, which is this one.
Yes.
It smells amazing. Smells amazing. No,
Okay.
carry on. Tell me about other poor food.
And the dessert, our traditional dessert in Alghero is mangian branco, cream of milk cooked with lemon, sugar, and corn flour.
Oh, nice. Are we going to try that?
Oh, yes.
Good. Aha. This is
Mangia
the
branco.
famous mangia branco.
Mangian branco, yes.
See, I was expecting to be more solid.
Depende. Every family have a different recipe.
I really get the lemon. Very creamy. It's got a good flavor. See, I'm a big fan of poor cuisine because, you know, when I always said that when a cuisine is poor, there's always plenty of flavors, and that's what I like. It's nice. Is the flour for me?
Yes.
Ah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Well, that was sweet, as has been my visit to Alghero. I was really surprised by how strong the Spanish influence is still. And as this side of Sardinia has so much more to offer than just food, the surprises don't end there. As tomorrow I'm leaving land and setting sail for another Sardinian surprise. And that is the Grotta di Nettuno, a cave complex that stretches out for several kilometers and discovered in the 18th century by local fishermen. These caves are several million years old. Only a small section of the vast network are open to the public.
Wow. I never knew this was here. This is incredible.
And the sight of the Lago La Marmara, which greets me as I enter, is breathtaking. At 100 meters long, it's one of the largest saltwater lakes in Europe. As well as this lake, they contain a number of magnificent stalagmites and stalactites. And can you remember how you tell the difference? Tights fall down and mites crawl up, of course. Apparently, after the caves were discovered, the then King of Sardinia would have the National Orchestra brought into play for him there.
If I was the King of Sardinia, I would party in these caves every week. Nice. This is spectacular. Selfie time.
Having left the west coast, I'm now heading inland. Deep, 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 deep into the mountain. And the place I can't wait to get to is the mountain region of Barbagia, nicknamed by the Romans Land of the Barbarians. It's here the island inhabitants would retreat to, over hundreds of years, passionately protecting their land against the likes of the Romans and the Spanish. Sardinian people are extremely proud of their tradition and their land, and so much so that they actually refer themselves as Sardi and not Italian. And to understand what Sardinia is all about, you must go and visit Orgosolo, and that's where I'm going now. The town of Orgosolo lies in the heart of the Barbagia Mountains. Historically, it has a fierce reputation, famed for bandits and its aggressive stance against the Italian state. Today, it continues to be a strong symbol of the Sardinians' fighting spirit and passion, thanks to an abundance of artwork on its walls. Murals everywhere. I'm wondering if there is a Banksy here. The first mural was painted in 1969 in protest against the authoritarian Italian government, and the tradition has continued ever since. I'm hoping local resident Elisa will be able to explain to me what this striking artwork represents.
See, I was expecting one or two, but everywhere I go here, there are murals everywhere. Some are quite happy, colorful, but then all of a sudden you get the aggressive one, like military, and why are they so different?
Well, when it started, the first years, all murals were political. They were supposed to make discussion about a certain topic.
So instead of using newspapers, they just put whatever they wanted to say about politics on the walls.
They were made to say something that was important then.
How do they look so good? Because I was thinking they should kind of start to fade away with time.
Sure. Well, they are constantly restored. So every 2 or 3 years, artists come here to keep them alive.
See, this to me is a typical scenario of Italian mothers and grandmothers. I'm very familiar to this.
Yes. Well, the theme here is Sardinian daily life. And this mural in particular is celebrating women for their important role they have in the family.
See, I like that, where it says, saggezza antica, ancient wisdom. That is very right. Now, this looks impressive and aggressive at the same time. What's the story here?
Well, this mural was made to remember the facts of Pratobello, when in 1969 the Italian state decided to build a permanent military range in our territory, meaning that shepherds had to leave the area, which was fundamental for our economy. So the whole town went there to occupy the area for 6 days until they decided not to build the military range.
They do look a bit angry.
Well,
Something is happening.
They were fighting for their life.
They look like fighters. They do. And I have to say, I'm so happy that I've experienced all this because it's just very beautiful and you can really understand the people around here.
And it's the spirit of those people and this town that I will take away with me. All too soon, I'm back on the road. But I want to stay in this beautiful Barbagia mountain region a little bit longer. As well as sightseeing, my journey is still about food. In Sardinia, there are more shepherds than fishermen. And wherever I look, there are farms everywhere. On the menus around here, you will always find lots of meats, lots of vegetables, really everything that they got on the farm. And Sardinia is also well known for the cheeses. I'm really interested to learn more about the Sardinian diet, especially as Sardinia is known as a blue zone, one of the few areas in the world where people are more likely to live to 100 years old. Now that's what I'm talking about. So I'm paying a visit to Shepherd Martino, here in the Supramonte Agriturismo. Here on the farm, they still live a traditional Sardinian shepherd's lifestyle, working the land 365 days a year, breeding, growing and making everything they cook. So if anyone can unlock the secrets about the true Sardinian diet, I think Martino is my man.
Un po' la dieta del pastore, la dieta della Sardegna, cioè che cosa mangiate, che cosa fate?
Allora, innanzitutto i nostri prodotti, che sono il formaggio, fatto da
Martino explained to me that their traditional diet is very simple. Meats that are cured so they can be taken away to the fields. Cheese made with sheep milk, known for its high nutritional value, and fresh homemade honey for a bit of sweet. All brought together by this rustic bread, pane carasau.
It's a very thin bread which he gets baked and is dry. And he said it's very important for the Sardinian tradition and shepherd's tradition because this is the only bread that they can take with them and would last for 20-25 days. Facciamo un po' di un assaggino?
Certo.
I've asked to taste something because I'm salivating with all the smell here. Dove iniziamo? Da questo?
Oh,
Okay. This one here catches my eye because the color is beautiful. Pecorino, eh?
pecorino.
I want to try. Dai, fammi una fettina per assaggiare. Ok. Soft. A little bit like a cheddar cheese would be. Extremely tasty. È buono questo. I can see this one on grated on pasta. Ok. Ricotta.
Passiamo alla ricotta.
Fresh ricotta. Come me la devo mangiare questo?
Allora, questa qua, il criterio sarebbe questo, caro Gino.
He said, now I'm going to show you how to do it. Vai.
Apriamo. È neutra, chiamiamola così.
This one is absolutely clean in flavor. Honey. Runny honey.
Ok. Vai, Gino.
E vai. Ok.
Un pezzo di pane.
So Martino is explaining, you use a piece of bread as a spoon, like the proper shepherds do.
E mangi proprio anche il cucchiaio.
But you eat the tablespoon.
Buono.
Fantastic. See, sometimes we're going absolutely mental, you know, to create an antipasti. What should I do? How complicated should it be? This, to me, is the perfect antipasti ever. Buono, 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 buono. Let's go talking about meats here. Parliamo delle carni.
Ok. Allora, qua logicamente col maiale era l'unica...
I was interested to hear the pig is the main animal they farm here. Because once it's butchered, the shepherds can cure it in salt and pepper and it can be preserved all year round. Curing meat has a long history in Italy, tracing back to pre-Roman times. There are hundreds of varieties of Italian salami, each region using different consistencies of pork and combinations of spices. So I'm really keen to taste this soft local salame called salsiccia sarda.
They make sure that the skin is out, and then see, difference from the Neapolitan salami, where I come from, Naples. This has got less pepper, less spices. You got quite a lot of gristle, so it's just sweet, sweet, and melting in the mouth. Buono.
Finally, it seems only fitting to wash everything down with some cannonau. A small glass of this strong Sardinian wine is drunk at almost every meal, and some argue it keeps heart disease down on the island.
14 gradi in su.
Oh, he said cannonau. You cannot call it cannonau if it's not at least 14% volume. If it's too weak, it's not a cannonau. It's strong, and it's good that it's strong because he can take all these flavors here. If it was a weak wine, it wouldn't work.
Completava il pranzo.
Martino said a good cannonau, it should always complete your dinner. Salute.
Salute.
E grazie.
Time to hit the road again, complete with some cheeky pecorino to cook with later.
That was nice of him to give me the cheese. Come on, let's have a selfie. Say cheese!
Today I've been learning about the pride and passion of the Sardinian people and the amazing diet that sustains them. So to discover even more, I'm crossing the island for the village of Santo Lussurgiu. It's the home of another symbol of Sardinia, Filu e Ferro, or as I know it, moonshine. This liqueur has been produced here for centuries and for a long time was made in secret by the farmers. Ex-local mechanic Carlo is so passionate about preserving the traditional tipple, he turned his workshop into a distillery and was happy to share a little glass with me.
Un pezzo di fil di ferro affinché fosse facile il ritrovamento.
See, this is quite cute, the story, because fil di ferro is if you translate in English, is a wire. Mi fai vedere un esempio del filo e ferro? I just asked him to show me how they used to do it in the old days. They used to make spirits illegally because they didn't want to pay the tax. And they used to hide the bottle, even in barrels or under the ground. And then you have famous wire coming up, and then you just, it's like fishing. There you go. Illegal alcohol. Fantastico, grazie. Assaggiamo, dai, se no a fine facciamo solo chiacchiere qua. I said, let's try, otherwise we talk, and I want to see what it's all about. It's quite a simple process, how you make fil e ferro, because it's nothing more than distilled wine. The vapors from the wine, very slowly, in this kind of machinery here, it drops into the barrel and it creates this beautiful liqueur.
Questo è per farti evolvere I profumi.
He just said you need to shake around the glass because it's like wine. You need to get all the smells and all the flavors coming together. Pronti? Salute.
Sì, sì.
Ma questo si beve tutto insieme?
No.
E When you gonna tell me that you have to sip it? Okay, you have to learn one big lesson. File ferro, you drink it slowly, slowly. There is no need to do it in one go. Anyway, it's buono. Ok, assaggiamone un po' alla volta, ok? Dimmi che cosa devo assaggiare. I just ask him, let's do it again. Facciamo piano piano.
Sì, sì.
Let's drink slowly, slowly this time. Beh, buono, eh? It's really nice. You get the wine coming through. If you sip it slowly, you don't get the, you know, the alcohol kind of flavor into your throat. Se lo bevi piano, io non posso bere più perché sennò non riesco a cucinare. No, I just said to Carlo, I can't drink anymore because I got cooking to get on with it. So come to the dinner, take a bottle, and tonight we can stay all night drinking. All right?
Ok.
Good. Salute.
Sì.
Today, the symbols of Sardinia for me can be summed up in 3 words: mountains, meat, and moonshine. Inspired by all that, I'm staying right here in Santo Lussurgio to cook a traditional Sardinian dish for Carlo and his friend. It's a rustic sausage and tomato pasta called gnocchetti sardi alla campidanese.
As my grandmother used to say to me, whenever you start a good tomato sauce, you must start it with a fantastic soffritto. And what is soffritto? Is right here. I go celery, finely chopped carrots, and finely chopped onions.
Pour olive oil into a pan on a medium heat and throw in all the veg. This is going to make a fantastic base to the pasta sauce. Sprinkle in some chopped fresh rosemary and season with salt.
I wish you could smell the soffritto with the rosemary. It's just something else. Now is the time that you have to be patient because it needs to caramelize beautifully and they need to get nice and soft. This will probably take you 7 to 8 minutes. The next thing is sausage.
I'm using Italian sausage because it's a coarse meat, which works well in this pasta sauce.
What I wanted to make sure that you squeeze the meat out from the skin and go straight into the pan. So with your hands, just break it and keep the skin behind, yeah? That's very important. Perfect. Wash your hands and then very simply lower the heat and start to break the sausage into the soffritto.
Squeeze in 2 tablespoons of tomato puree and we are ready to transform all these flavors into a simple but tasty sauce.
Now, the tomatoes. To make a good tomato sauce, you must use tinned tomatoes. It will be impossible to do it with fresh tomato, otherwise then you have to deal with the skin, the seed. So tomato straight in there. Make sure there's a good quality, so even if you pay a couple of pence more, they're gonna be worth it. Mix all together. And now, guys, it's actually the best part of making this sauce. It's called piopea. Piopea is when the sauce starts to bubble away like this. Blop, 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 blop. And make sure that the sauce piopea for about 5 minutes. My sauce is bubbling away. So I'm gonna add water, okay? And what the water is gonna do is gonna make sure that my sauce doesn't get too thick, but yet all the flavors get together beautifully.
Bring to the boil, then leave to simmer for 20 minutes. Once the sauce is reduced and rich, finish off with a few fresh basil leaves and season to taste.
Thick tomato sauce, flavor of the basil. You can get the soffritto, the sausage nice and crumbled, beautiful.
I want to rest my sauce for 10 minutes before serving, which is just enough time to cook my pasta in boiling salted water. I'm using gnocchetti sardi. With its conch-like shape and small ridges, it carries meat or tomato flavors fantastically. And of course, I'll cook it until it's just al dente.
The secret of a good plate of pasta is very simple. Pasta goes into the sauce. Never just throw the sauce on top of the pasta, because you want to get all the flavors together. So get your pasta, you go straight into the sauce. I'm making sure that each little piece of pasta is well coated into the sauce just before you serve it. Yes, this is nice.
For the final touch, a few gratings of the salty, sharp pecorino cheese from my mate Martino the Shepherd.
Ah, come on, look at that. This is what Sardinian food is all about. Simple ingredients with a spectacular result. My gnocchetti sardi alla campidanese. Il pecorino, sai come facciamo fatto?
All that's left to do is to tuck in and enjoy, with Carlo, his good friend Gabriella, plus some traditional local singers thrown in for good measure. Well, when in Sardinia, why not?
Grazie della visita.
Salute
Arrivederci.
to Sardinia and the Sardi. How about that? Sardinia has more than 1,000 miles of shore, with turquoise waters, lapping golden sand, secluded coves, and rugged cliffs with hidden caves. And with all that coastline comes a sea full of sea life. I want to start by meeting the people who harvest these waters for food, so I'm heading south to the seaside region of Oristano. There is a thriving fishing community on this part of the coast, and they get all sorts of fishes here, from sea bass, sea bream, octopus, fresh prawns, unbelievable. As a chef, I love to know where my ingredients comes from and how it gets to my plate. So I'm setting sail with some local fishermen to learn about their lifestyle and what food can be found in these Sardinian waters.
Tonino,
Buongiorno.
come stai, bello?
Bene, bene.
Tutto bene?
Sì, tutto
Posso?
bene. Prego.
Tonino Secchi has fished here all his life. Having learned the trade from his grandfather, today he keeps it in the family, fishing with his son Roberto. Once the nets were cast, I was able to corner the captain for a quick chat.
Non essendoci fabbriche, quindi un'attività prevalente.
È normale che prevale qui. Tonino just said to me that fishing is very, very important in Sardinia because there are not many factories. It's like being a shepherd or owning a farm. Whatever they catch or whatever they farm, that's what they eat. He said that he's been doing this since he was a little boy. He actually sacrificed not to study to be a fisherman, but he's happy. I like when people, they do a hard job, but still with a smile. Tonino, che tipo di pesce si prende normalmente da queste parti?
Ma questo mare è abbastanza ricco, anche perché soprattutto questa costa che è
Tonino went on to explain that here in Sardinia they are blessed with a huge variety of fish, thanks to a combination of the water being rich in oxygen from northwesterly winds, plus a very deep seabed. It's deep enough for to get all sorts of fishes, you know, octopus, lobster. He said whatever you can think of is around here. Quindi il metodo che usi per pescare, quali sono le reti? Qual è?
E usiamo un po' di attrezzatura varia.
To catch their fish, Tonino still uses traditional fishing methods, such as casting and leaving nets for 24 hours, then returning to pull in their hole and sell directly to restaurants and markets. With so much amazing seafood to choose between, I wondered what his favorite catch was.
Le aragoste sono 50-60 euro, quindi...
Quella è la mia preferita, la mia preferita. He's like me, he said my favorite fish is lobster. Number one, because you can sell it for much more money, but then you get a good flavor. Due linguini all'aragosta, aragosta with pasta. I like the capital.
Anchors away and time to head back to harbor. It's been great to see firsthand how Sardinian seafood is caught. So, to remember my trip, I want a picture with the most popular one on the boat.
Okay, Bella? Okay, smile.
Back on dry land, and I'm back on the road. I absolutely loved spending time on Tonino's boat, and the thing that really impressed me is the fact that it still is a family-orientated business. It shows me that Sardinian people, they really care to pass to the next generations what their job and their work is all about. Now I've seen how the seafood is caught, I really want to know how it's cooked, how it's served, what flavors are created. Tonino told me the catch from Oristano is sold all the way down the coast, so I'm following its journey south to Sardinia's capital, Cagliari. This ancient portside city dates back to pre-Roman times and is an interesting mix of cobbled streets and grand buildings. Today, it's home to about 500,000 Sardinians and loads of seafood restaurants. The oldest one is Ristorante Italia, which has been run by the same family here in Cagliari for 94 years. So I can't wait to get tasting with the founder's granddaughter and current owner, Veronica.
Veronica, how long is this beautiful family restaurant has been going on?
Since 1921. Very soon there will be a great party because we're gonna celebrate the centenary.
I want to come though, eh?
Yes, of course. You're
Promise?
invited, promise.
Okay, you have your words. I want to be at the party. What kind of dishes you serve in this restaurant? I mean, what are the kind of things you guys like to cook?
Okay, this restaurant is famous for fish. Sea bass, groupers and lobsters, shrimps, every kind of fish.
I absolutely adore fish. You know, I come from the south of Italy, Napoli.
Yes.
Everything is about fish. So what are the typical fish dish that you guys prepare?
We got shrimps and zucchini fried.
Crispy fish and croquettes, I think is a fantastic combination.
Yes, it is really good.
Can you make this one with zucchini flour?
Yes, of course.
You can do it, yeah.
Yes.
Nice. Wow. What about this one here? What's this black thing here?
This one is called in Sardinian burrida, and it's dogfish.
Burrida?
Burrida, yes.
So how do you make this?
It is made with dogfish liver, walnuts, vinegar, and oil.
Wow, I never had dogfish before. Never, ever.
It is really good.
Nice, meaty white fish, like monkfish.
Yes.
And I love the contrast between the vinegar and the walnut.
Yes.
It works really well.
Yes, it has got a strong flavor.
I love it.
Yes, yes.
Meeting Veronica has given me a real taste of the Cagliari way of cooking seafood, especially the interesting textures and flavors they coat the fish in. So I'm feeling inspired to find some local seafood to cook myself.
If you want to see more fishes, go to San Benedetto Market.
San Benedetto Market?
Sì.
That's where I need to go?
Yes, the fish is really fresh.
Bravo.
For me, that was fish heaven. But as Veronica said, if I want to get the best fish around here, I have to go to San Benedetto Market. So tomorrow morning, early starts. After fishing off the coast of Oristano and tasting some wonderful seafood dishes here in the Sardinian capital Cagliari, I want to get my hands on some fresh fish to cook with later. San Benedetto Market is the largest covered market in Italy and one of the largest in Europe. Established back in 1957, it has over 300 stalls and is 8,000 square meters of fresh fruit and veg. Locally made cheeses, bread of every variety, and a huge selection of meat. But what I can't wait to explore is its entire floor dedicated to seafood.
Buongiorno.
To a chef like me, this is paradise.
Look at that. Beautiful, fresh.
In Sardegna sì, già lo conoscono, magari...
Ma in
sì.
Inghilterra è un po' più difficile.
No, lì no.
We were having a chat about the scorpion fish. Not many people understand this fish because it looks ugly, highly poisonous on the spine, but you can make an amazing soup or a tomato sauce for pasta. Buonissimo. Buonissimo.
There is so much to choose from. But it's some tuna that caught my eye. And I'm not talking the stuff you get in tins at the supermarket.
Mi servirebbe una bella bistecca di tonno da 1 chilo. Bel pezzo.
Pezzo così.
Perfetto, grazie. Fantastico. Bravo, pezzo unico. Grazie.
Grazie.
Arrivederci. Arrivederci. I got my piece of tuna and I'm gonna cook it on a very special location.
With so much delicious food in Sardinia, both from the mountains and the sea, the island's coast has another very important role as a gateway for trade, including food, with the rest of the world. So I'm heading 20 miles further south to visit an historical trading post. It's one of the most significant archaeological sites in Italy, Nora. These ancient ruins are not just a little old. They are over 2,600 years old. Over the years, Nora has been home to the Phoenicians, Carthaginians, and the Romans, each leaving important traces of their history behind.
Gli edifici pubblici, le case.
Archaeologist Ignazio has been excavating on this site for the past 18 years. And I really want to hear what they've discovered.
Dentro anche i mosaici e tanti materiali importanti.
See, Ignazio just said that it's very important to understand that what they found here is a whole city. And like in every city where you find, you have buildings, a lot of building materials, a lot of fantastic mosaics, and everything that you would find on everyday life in a city.
Perché Nora si trova nella parte più vicina all'Africa.
But it's the position of this city which made it key when it came to trading products such as fish oil, meat and wine. As Nora sits on the closest area of Sardinia to Africa and at the heart of the Mediterranean shipping routes.
Per I traffici, per I commerci.
And he said that strategically it was very important because then they could trade with all the other cities in the Mediterranean and the Atlantic, which was very, very important for the Roman Empire.
The archaeologists are uncovering more and more every day, and not only on land. Its surrounding seabed is littered with shipwrecks from the Roman trading days, filled with history telling us how produce was moved around all those years ago. And the Romans shipped their goods in large ceramic vessels called amphoras.
The amphoras they used to use in the old days to transport anything from fish, olive oil, meats, and he actually just said that he's going to show me one straight away. Andiamo a vedere, dai.
So I'm trading my flip-flops for feints and joining Ignazio's diving team to hunt for some history. And there it is, an actual amphora. It's hard to imagine that this was used on a Roman trading ship, carrying food around the Mediterranean 1,800 years ago. I feel so privileged to witness the team making this discovery.
Unbelievable. I've seen living history in the mountain, and now I've touched history.
What a special day I've had, celebrating the Sardinian Sea. So, to top it off, I want to cook that succulent tuna steak from San Benedetto Market. And, inspired by Veronica's dishes, give it a crispy textured crust and a punchy tomato and olive sauce.
Guys, where do we start? With the sauce. I'm going to show you a beautiful sauce, very quick. It will take you probably about 3 or 4 minutes to prepare. It's going to give a beautiful kick to the tuna. So, switch on your frying pan and start to pour in a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. Like that. In the oil, straight in goes sliced garlic. Not too thin, because if you slice it too thin, it will burn quickly and then it becomes bitter, okay? The only thing that you have to do is to wait for a little sizzle of oil around the garlic. It's sizzling to perfection. The next step is large plum tomatoes. And what you have to do, you cut them in half, then you cut them in half again, and scoop out the pulp. So the only thing that you want is this. You want a little bit of the flesh and nothing more. For 4 people, I would probably use 4 or 5, up to you. Okay, so I'm happy. Tomatoes straight into the oil with the garlic.
Add 100 grams of pitted green olives, then season. Garlic and tomato with the saltiness of the olives makes a zingy combination. Next, I want 4 or 5 bay leaves. And to get their full flavor, here's a Gino tip.
It's very simple. What you have to do, you have to bruise them. Squeeze them into your hands like this, okay? And then you put them into the sauce. And the flavor and the smell will release like there is no tomorrow. That's it. Now, the last thing I'm going to add, white wine vinegar. The acidity is going to give me a fantastic kick to the tuna. Mix everything together, like this. The job is done. Switch it off and allow the sauce to rest for about 5 minutes, which is going to give you enough time to cook the tuna. Bang, put the both things together. Look at that. That's the way people should buy tuna. Big chunk, and then you cut just the way you want it. I'm going to cut it in about 2 centimeters thick. That's it, look. That's exactly what you want. Once you've done that, then what I want to do is to cut it again with your one piece, like that, and another piece like this. This is what you need for a portion. So once you got your beautiful tuna ready, the only thing that you have to do is to coat it in coarse semolina. Now, coarse semolina, you can find it nowadays anywhere, in any supermarket, Italian deli. If you can find the coarse semolina, use polenta. It works just as well. So pick up the tuna, straight into the semolina. And the reason why I'm using the semolina is because tuna needs to be cooked very, very quickly. I want it nice and rare in the middle. So what's happened with the semolina is going to give me a fantastic crunch all around. So crispy outside, beautiful and tender in the middle.
To test if your oil is hot enough for the tuna, sprinkle in some of the semolina. And if it bubbles, you're good to go.
Pick up your tuna and very gently straight into the oil. Yes. Now, the secret of cooking tuna is very simple. Don't overcook it. Once you put it into the oil, 1 minute on each side. Two minutes are gone. Switch off your pan, because what I'm going to do is to lift my tuna up and go straight onto the little bit of kitchen paper, so any excess oil is going to be drained out straight away. This is exactly what I wanted. Crispy outside, nice and tender in the middle. Okay, let's put the dish together. And the first thing you do, you put your tuna in the middle like that. Now, just put the sauce all around. My last touch, a little pinch of black pepper on top. Amazing ingredients, very colorful, loads of passion behind. I mean, come on, look at this. All that's left to do is to enjoy my final supper on this beautiful island. You know, I've been living on this island for the last 3-4 years, and I've never experienced what I've experienced in the last few days. People all around Sardinia have been absolutely amazing. I've learned lots of things about food, culture, how passionate Sardinians really are. You know what? If I can give you one last tip about Sardinia, get yourself on a plane and come and visit the island. Trust me on that. Just 12 hours after leaving Sardinia, I've reached the home of the world's most active volcano, Mount Etna. Her eruptions have fed this island's fertile soil for centuries, meaning they have first-class wine, fruit, and vegetables. Sicily has been a crossroad of food and culture for 3,000 years. Roughly the size of Wales, with 5 million residents, it is somewhere I have never been before. I'll be traveling along the coast road, where there'll be plenty for me to experience, with 8 UNESCO World Heritage Sites, and perhaps even better Greek temples than Greece itself. A taste of Sicily is like a taste of everywhere. And it all starts for me over there. The historical city of Palermo is on the north edge of the island. It sprang up in the 9th century by traders who could see the importance of its natural harbor. From then till the 12th century, it became the greatest city in Europe, as the link between the Arab and the Western worlds. After the damage in World War II, Sicily's energetic capital remains chaotic, its buildings magnificently disheveled, and is probably best known for the organized crime network, the Mafia. But Palermo is also famous for its street food, as ranks the 5th best city in the world. And the place to taste it is the Vucciria markets. La Vucciria is one of the city's most well-known markets, a notorious hotbed of mafia activity. There's been a market on this site for the past 700 years. By day, it is relatively quiet. It comes alive on Friday and Saturday evenings, when it transforms into a one-stop pop-up shop for street food. Here, street food is deadly serious business. It's cheap, fast, and tasty. Vendors use seasonal produce cooked to order, which means it's fried, grilled, or boiled. Buonasera. Ciao. 5 euro di roba fritta. Grazie. Da quanto tempo fai questo mestiere?
30 anni.
30 anni. 30 years that he's been doing this job. I love it. Quindi che c'hai? Che sei?
Gamberone, sardella, involtini melanzane con pesce buono all'interno
Ah, voglio provare quelli. E uno anche di quello, grazie. He just explained to me all the things that he puts in the grill on the fire. Big prawns. But there is one thing he said that I should try is rolled aubergine with swordfish in the middle. And that's what I'm gonna get.
As my order was being cooked, something unexpected happened.
Something is happening. Everybody's shutting the shop very, very quickly. And they're shouting police, police, police. I think the police is gonna come very soon. The problem is that some of these food establishments, they don't really have a food license to be on the road. Not all of them, but some of them. And as you can see behind me, they're just closing and putting everything in as soon as possible, which I think is shame, mainly because I've just ordered my food and I'm not gonna get it. And I'm starving. We just gonna have to wait.
Which I guess was only to be expected, as I'm learning the Sicilians are a law unto themselves.
You know what? It's another day today, and I know that around the corner from the hotel where I'm staying, there is a shop that takes street food into another level. And I know for a fact that it's gonna be open.
This city is split roughly into 4 districts. La Vucciria, where I was last night, Il Capo, Albagheria, and the old Arabian quarter, La Calza, which is where I found the Antica Focacceria restaurant. As well as their food is known throughout Italy for standing up to the mafia when they refuse to pay the pizzo or mafia tax. Even today, the mafia in Palermo extort more than 160 million euros a year. So it came as no surprise that in 2005, 5th generation owner Fabio Conticello had the first-hand experience of the family.
They asked us 50,000 euro for all the past, and from that moment to the future, 1,500 euro for each month.
Were you not scared?
Yes, if I say no, I'm not honest. For the first 6 years, we had the police car stopped here 24 hours. My brother Vincenzo had the police with him all the time. Then he couldn't go to take a coffee with some friends because every time he had 4 people from the police next to him.
I admire people like you who stand up to the mafia and say, you know what, I'm not going to do it. Because Italy needs more people like yourself. Otherwise, it's never going to be over.
Despite the threat of the mafia, they have carried on making first-class, restaurant-quality street food.
I love fried food.
This is the potatoes croquette, we call cazzilli in Palermo.
Cazzilli?
Cazzilli. Try to
Shall I
explain
translate
to the people.
cazzilli?
Why not?
Cazzilli means little willy. That would be a little willy if...
the form is that.
Yes.
Cazzilli is fresh potatoes and salt, pepper,
parsley.
And, yeah. And the other one, the half moon, is chickpea fritters. We call panelle.
Panelle.
Yeah.
See, I've never been to Sicily before, but all my friends always say, whenever you go to Sicily, you must try the panelle.
Yeah.
So how do you make this one?
The chickpea, water, salt.
This is incredible.
This was our breakfast, and this is the breakfast of students in Palermo.
You know what? If I was a student, I would eat this one every morning.
Yeah.
It's really tasty. Really, really tasty. Now, the one I have to talk about it is arancino. I love arancino.
Gino. In Palermo, arancina is a woman.
What do you mean is a woman?
A woman, arancina.
I like that.
Yeah.
Tell me about the arancina.
The arancina.
Okay, because look at that. This is what I was been looking forward to open. The smell. Tell me how you make your arancina.
This one is the most typical in Palermo. It is with the rice a mix of pork and beef and peas.
This sums up what street food should be like. Simple, tasty, and most importantly, something that you can eat with your hands. I don't want to see knife and fork. I don't want to see, fancy stuff. In my hands, something that is beautiful, and I thank you for getting me this experience. It's just magnificent.
Thank you for coming and visit us.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, since I was a little boy, I've heard a lot of stories about mafia, and I've watched enough movies about the mafia, but I've never actually realized how much it can affect places like this. I mean, the only thing that they're trying to do is to serve excellent quality food, and yet they have to deal with these sort of things. It's incredible. I'm speechless in a way that things like this still happens, and I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. I admire the guy, big time.
I started my morning getting to grips with the shadowy underworld of the mafia. But now I'm in a shadowy underworld of a very different kind.
Wow, I really can see that, people.
Before I leave the city, I have been told that the Palermo catacombs are unmissable. Built in the 1500s by Capuchin monks as a burial ground, the air down here preserved the bodies, so the monks decided to put them on display as they are seen now. The oldest surviving mummy is the body of Father Silvestro da Gubbio, who died in 1599. In 1783, due to public demand, anyone who could afford it could be preserved and put on display too. For the locals, to be displayed here was the ultimate status symbol. They no longer accept bodies, but are open to the public.
Well, that is definitely one way to celebrate death. Would I want that to happen to me? I'm not sure about it.
It's good to be back in the sunshine again, and onwards with my journey.
Okay, let me show you how I'm going to do Sicily. I'm starting right here in Palermo, and I'm going to go all the way around the island. So my next stop is, I'm gonna go down here, it's gonna be Marsala, which is the home of sweet wine, and thanks God, because I do need a drink.
What can I tell you about Palermo? Definitely a very interesting city. Very buzzing, a fascinating history, the people were great, and the food that I've tried, well, fantastic. So Marsala, here I come. I'm now making my way west around the island to learn about its other great contribution to cuisine, wine. Wine production in Sicily has been around much longer than other world producers like France, Australia, and even the rest of Italy, after being introduced by the Greeks in 800 BC. The pre-Roman city of Marsala is 150 kilometers west of Palermo, and you and I will know it because it's the home of Marsala wine, a fortified wine made popular in the 1800s. Now, let me tell you something very interesting. You may think that an Italian was the one who invented Marsala wine. Well, you're wrong. It was an Englishman called John Woodhouse, and he created this beautiful sweet wine in 1770, and then he exported all over Europe. There you go, that's a new fact for you. This vineyard is run by the children of the late Marco de Bartoli. Marco came from a long line of winemakers and is specialized in the local Marsala wine. He wanted to promote this as a high-quality product, even though it fell out of favor back in the 1980s. They use the Grillo grape, which plays a star role in Marsala production, as well as white wine. The vines are planted all over the western side of the island, and they make a fresh, light wine with nutty, fruit-driven flavors that include lemon and apple.
So do you produce a lot of Marsala?
We produce a very small quantity, but in very, very high quality.
And what makes your Marsala so special?
Because our Marsala is more than 10 years old.
If you consider that an average Marsala is only 1 year old, this is going to be very special.
We start with the white.
Okay. What do I do with this?
No,
In here?
Yes.
Okay, we throw away wine.
È per avvinare il bicchiere.
Ah, he said you're throwing away just to make sure that you start to flavor the glass.
Oh, yes.
I think it's a waste of wine. It's very fresh to the palate.
Yes.
It's not heavy or...
No, because Grillo grape has a very good acidity.
Nice. Okay. Any more?
The other one is a more traditional wine, 20 years old. The name is Vecchio Samperi.
Okay.
You can see from the color is old wine.
It's got the same color of brandy or cognac.
Because brandy and cognac are aged.
Are aged. Okay, salute again. See, I thought it would be sweet, but it's not sweet.
It's dry, because it's not fortified. It's a wine aged.
Wine is fortified by adding a distilled spirit, usually brandy, to it.
Now is Marsala, fortified method, 10 years old, medium sweet. The color is...
It's darker, definitely.
Yes.
I can smell that it's fortified. Salute.
Salute.
Ah, see, this is already tasty.
It's more dessert wine. More...
Yeah, like a dessert wine.
Yes.
This is good, though. See, I prefer this. It's got more like kind of a sweety flavor, delicate flavor. Yeah, very nice.
Good balance.
Good balance.
This Marsala is better for make chicken. It's better.
It's good
for
because
chicken.
I'm
Yes.
making chicken.
Yes.
So this will be good to do it.
Yes.
Salute.
Salute, Gino.
Salute.
And that's my cue to cook this traditional pollo in Marsala e pomodoro, with the star ingredient fresh from the barrel.
I'm going to show you a recipe using the best of Sicilian ingredients: fresh oranges, raisins, and of course, a fantastic bottle of Marsala wine. And where do we start? Is right here with the chicken. The first thing I want to do is to make sure I'm going to coat the chicken into flour. So get the chicken breasts, toss them into the flour like this.
It's important to coat the chicken so that when you cook it, the flour will make the sauce rich and thick.
Of course, remember, you touched raw chicken, don't forget to wash your hands. Now, you're gonna have to have a frying pan, put the frying pan on, and drizzle a little bit of olive oil. Get your first breast of chicken, give it a few slaps, and it goes straight in.
You want to fry the chicken between 1 to 2 minutes on each side, till it goes nice and golden, no more than that.
So, what we do now, just turn your chicken. Probably need another 2 minutes on this side. So meanwhile, what you do, just finely slice some plain white onions. I think my chicken is definitely ready. Okay. Fantastic. Now, just let the chicken to rest, and then what you want to do, in the same oil where you fried the chicken, just add the onions in there.
Then the onions will soak up the flavor of the chicken, which will make the base of this thick, rich sauce.
Just add a couple of pinches of salt, just to make sure that they caramelize beautiful. Now, the last couple of minutes of cooking the onions, I want to use Renato's marsala. So, this is going to be fantastic. And remember, this is alcohol, so it's going to flame. So stand a little bit back and let the onion to cook for about a minute into the marsala wine.
I'm using about 250 milliliter or a large glass of medium sweet marsala wine.
Beautiful. I tell you, the smell of the marsala wine going with the caramelized onion is magnificent. Straight in there, I'm going to pour sieved tomato, passata, which is going to make sure that it's going to get all nice and sweet.
Don't be tempted to use chopped tomatoes as you want the sauce to be smooth.
It's now time for my Sicilian orange test. And what I want you to do is to finally grate the orange.
If you can get them, the blood oranges are beautifully sweet and complement the wine. If you can't, then normal oranges will do.
And I'm also going to add a few raisins.
To finish off the sauce, I'm adding 1 teaspoon of custard sugar, a few basil leaves, and of course, seasoning with salt and pepper.
And then straight away, what you want to do, add the chicken breast into the sauce.
Cover the chicken with the tomato sauce and let it bubble away for 20 minutes.
See, what I like about this recipe is a one-pot wonder. You put everything in there, very little washing up to do, and the job is done.
I really hope my dish reflects the very best of the Sicilian ingredients I've used. The proof is in the eating, so Renato and his sister Giuseppina join me for a taste of the chicken in their marsala wine sauce.
Molto buono.
Very, very good.
Ragazzi, salute, grazie di nuovo. Salute,
Salute.
salute, salute, grazie a voi.
Sicily may be the small island on the toe of Italy's boots, but it's got a lot of kick when it comes to culture and cuisine. Positioned between Africa and Europe, it's been influenced by both East and West, over the years ruled by the Arabs, the Greeks and the Spanish. And with all those different cultures came lots of different foods. So this week I'm on a mission to search the island for the ingredients and recipes of its colorful past. Leaving the west coast, I'm heading south to a town which has been the home of Sicilian chocolate making for the last 400 years.
Now, on to Modica.
Modica is part of the Val di Noto, a group of 8 cities rebuilt in 1693 after a devastating earthquake. Designed in the late Baroque style of the day, Modica is nestled high in the hillside. But it's not just beauty that puts it on the map. As Sicily was often the first port of call for traders from the Americas, it fast became, and still is, the island's chocolate capital. Antica Dolceria Bonaiuto is the oldest chocolate shop in Sicily, opened by Francesco Bonaiuto back in 1880, and it still is run by the same family 6 generations later. With world-famous clients today like Dolce & Gabbana, this is chocolate with a difference. So I'm really excited to meet manager Pierpaolo and learn what makes it so special.
So Pierpaolo, what's the difference between normal chocolate and the chocolate from Modica?
Well, here in Modica, chocolate arrived during the 16th century. It's very few ingredients, no additives, no cocoa butter, nor soy lecithin, nor milk, like other chocolate.
So what kind of ingredients do you use?
Only cocoa seeds, sugar, and just a little bit of spices, all natural flavors.
Pierpaolo explains chocolate starts with the cocoa fruit, Inside are cocoa beans, which are roasted and peeled to get cocoa nibs. And when these are ground, you get cocoa mass. Only when sugar is added does this become chocolate.
I didn't know that. See, in life you live and learn. I had no idea about that. I think this is cool. Okay, enough of the talk now. I'm salivating. Let me try some chocolate.
Okay, this one is the traditional one, the cinnamon one.
Okay.
And now we work at 45 degrees Celsius, so the sugar never melts inside.
Grainy, not fattening, quite light. It's like a light chocolate.
Yes, because there is only the fat naturally contained in the seeds. Usually in the normal chocolate, industrial chocolate, they add more fat.
Right. And what about this one?
Those are typical biscuits from Modica. The name is panatilli, directly from the Spanish word empanadas, empanadillas.
Okay.
Try it.
They feel quite light. I'm gonna open one. I'm gonna go for it.
So what inside?
I know that it's chocolate and it's very light. The pastry is very light. Man, I have no idea what is inside. Come on, what is inside?
Well, are made with chocolate and beef meat inside.
Beef?
Chocolate and beef inside.
Interesting. I can taste the beef, I'm gonna be very honest. I can taste chocolate and it's very spongy and light.
Yes, there is cinnamon inside, almonds, eggs, nutmeg, but about 40% is beef meat.
That's amazing. I love it.
Okay, enough of the tasting. I know they set the chocolate by shaking it into the mold by hand. So as I need to burn off some calories, it's time for me to get my chocolate groove on.
Okay, rhythm, rhythm. And oh, I see. You need to use the feet as well. And voila! How did I do? Am I good?
Perfect.
Can I have a job here?
Why not?
Yeah? 10,000 euro per day.
Why not?
Really?
Chocolate is a great business.
Well, listen, we got a deal. We got a deal. I'll be starting to work here for 10,000 euro a day.
Thank you.
New job in the bag, I'm back on the road. I'm loving discovering these new flavors I've never tasted before. Beef in chocolate, now that's one to remember. Sicily is surprising me at every turn. And it's not just the food, it's everywhere I look. Amongst hillside villages and sprawling vineyards are also ancient ruins from the days the Greeks ruled the island. The Valley of the Temples in Agrigento is one of the world's most important archaeological sites. Founded as a Greek colony in the 6th century BC, it was once the 4th largest city in the known world, and today is Sicily's single biggest tourist attraction. This Temple of Concord is still standing proud, even though it was built 2,445 years ago.
This is something you don't see every day.
Each temple had its own use, and the temple of Gino here was where the locals would get married. Forget the town halls in the UK. Can you imagine getting married here? Continuing my journey onwards, I'm on the hunt for more Sicilian food. I've heard about a very special person in another of Val di Noto's Baroque cities. Celebrated as one of the best pastry chefs in all of Italy, he can be found in his cafe in Noto. Corrado Assenza is the fourth generation in his family to run Caffè Sicilia, which opened in 1892. As a chef, he is famous for his creative use of flavors and experimental approach to traditional Sicilian desserts. Although Italy has many sweet treats, the Sicilian ones owe their origins to the invading Arab and African influences. So expect candied fruits, pistachios and dates, as well as spices like cinnamon and cloves. Once Corrado's finished for the day, I'm honored to taste some of his creations.
Tell me about the tradition of the cassata.
The first thing is that cassata means culture.
Culture.
And in cassata you can find everything from Sicily that belong to agriculture, because there is the camon, the pistachio, the ricotta from sheep milk, and the combination, the citrus plant, the orange on top. Sicily is a beautiful place for citrus plants.
I love it because the sugar came through after. I felt the almonds, definitely the orange, and I really felt the ricotta.
If I add more sugar to the combination of all the ingredients in cassata,
You're gonna ruin it.
I kill it.
Don't do anything. Please don't touch this recipe because it's perfect.
Be sure at the moment we have arrived to the perfection.
I think you got it. I think you got it.
I get it.
Another treat Sicily is famous for is the palate-cleansing ice dessert, granita.
Can you tell me the tradition of granita?
Arab people bring granita to Sicily and they store in the cave of the mountain the snow.
So snow? They used to do this with snow?
And after, during the summertime, the use of this ice with the flavor from the flowers, from the fresh citrus fruits, begin the history of granita.
I know that you like to experiment with flavors. What I'm eating here?
This is a granita made for the combination between fresh strawberry and fresh tomato.
Tomato and strawberry.
Together. If the combination is perfect, in your palate, in your moment, in this moment, you have something that seems to belong to a green apple taste.
No.
That's true.
Okay. I'm not gonna lie to you, okay? And I promise, this is the truth. As I was eating, I had the feeling of apples. I'm serious, eh?
I'm serious
I'm
too.
serious. I wanted to say apple.
The success of the recipe is when I choose the strawberry and I choose the tomatoes, I smell it, I don't taste it, I just smell and have the possibility to understand that together arrive the right flavor, the apple,
that's
green
true.
apple.
Depending on how it's made and which part of the island you are on, granita is either smooth or grainy, but always refreshing.
Corrado, salute to you, your cassata, your granita, and your family.
To have you here.
And
Thank
your
you
family.
so much
The pleasure
for
is all
coming.
mine.
It's mine pleasure.
Today, I'm continuing my journey exploring the island of Sicily. Leaving the coastal road, I'm now heading inland and getting closer to the most famous lady on the island, known for her fiery temper, Mount Etna. As the tallest volcano in Europe and one of the most active in the world, this natural wonder not only dominates this area with her size and power, she also affects the type of food grown in her surrounding soil. And there is one crop in particular the area is renowned for. So I'm paying a visit to a farm at Etna's base in the town of Jarre. Citrus plants were introduced to this area by the Arabs in the 9th century, and the crop flourished in this unique environment. Nicknamed the Lemon Riviera, for centuries Sicily was the world's leading producer and exporter of the fruit. And today the island still supplies 90% of all the lemons used in Italy. Sisters Vera and Saria invited me to their farm Agriturismo San Leonardello and their citrus orchards.
So tell me, how important is to have Etna so close to you?
Etna is important for the fertility of the soil. There are a lot of minerals. This is good for our lemon, oranges, mandarins, clementines, so you can have a good production.
Are you not scared to have a live volcano just around the corner from you guys?
No. No, because we love Etna. Etna is for us nature, as the sea, as the sun, as the sky. Is life for this part of the Sicily.
So you got all these lemons and oranges. What do you do with it?
We sell them and we make organic marmalade and a beautiful limoncello.
I love limoncello. I want to try some limoncello. Come on.
Okay, Gino, come with me.
Okay.
As Vera explained, volcanic rocks create some of the best soil because they have a wide variety of minerals which quickly break down into the soil. Although lemons are grown all over Italy, the Sicilian ones pack a punch with their intense sharpness, which contrasts well with the sugar in condiments and liqueurs.
So girls, what have we got here?
This is our lemon marmalade. I suggest to test with the Sicilian pecorino.
Lemon and pecorino? I never
Yes.
tried that before.
What do you think?
Buona. I thought that the lemon would be sweeter, but it's not too sweet. It's nice, nice flavor coming through. Nice. I like the combination with the pecorino. And this
Okay,
one?
now we try the marmalade of Kunqua with the buffalo mozzarella.
Ah, buffalo mozzarella.
Buffalo mozzarella, yes.
See, now I come from Napoli, where the original buffalo mozzarella comes from. So I never had a Sicilian buffalo mozzarella either. So.
It's nice.
It's interesting.
Yes.
See, I always say that buffalo mozzarella shouldn't go with anything, but it works. I think as an appetizer, quite nice. What about this one?
It's the marmalade of orange.
These are organic.
Yes,
Or-
all organic.
We only use fruits and organic sugar.
I don't usually like orange marmalade because it always tastes quite synthetic, but this is fresh, not very sweet. I love it. Okay, let's do some drinking. This is the famous limoncello.
Yes.
Limoncello is a modern Italian tradition made with just the zest of unwaxed lemons, sugar, alcohol and water. This sweet liqueur has become the perfect digestive.
I am impressed. This is good. Girls, I see that you got lemons there. Can I use them for my next recipe?
Of course.
I'm inspired by the freshness of Sicily's produce, the history of its recipes and its mind-blowing flavors. So I'm staying right here on the farm to cook a thank you dinner for the sisters.
Now that I have my lemons, I'm going to show you how to make a beautiful lemon risotto with mascarpone cheese and fresh prawns.
Start by gently softening 2 finely chopped shallot onions in some olive oil.
Now, once the onions are ready, what you have to do to get the perfect bite for the risotto, you must toast the rice. I'm using carnaroli rice. You can use arborio rice, but I think the carnaroli works absolutely beautiful because it gets nice and creamy. So the rice goes in and toast everything together for about a minute. To measure the rice is very, very simple. Use 1.5 handful per person, and you will never go wrong. Now, rice in there, make sure you mix everything together into the oil. What you can see, after a couple of minutes, the rice gets all nice and translucent around the grain, and in the middle is nice and white. So that's meaning that it's ready. Straight away, we're gonna add the wine flavor. Smell is amazing. Okay, now, little by little, you're gonna have to add the stock.
I'm using hot vegetable stock, and the key is to add it gradually. Add a little, let it absorb, then repeat until the rice is thick and creamy. For extra flavor, I'm adding some flat leaf parsley.
Good quality rice should take between 16 and 18 minutes to cook. Now in there, the next thing I'm going to add is my beautiful lemons. So we're going to start with the lemon zest first. Let's see. Now the lemon zest is going to give an amazing fresh flavor to the risotto. Soon after the lemon zest, cut your lemon in half and squeeze half of the lemon into the rice.
Then add mascarpone cheese. If you don't have it, you can use double cream. Just make sure it's nice and thick.
Now the mascarpone is going to give a fantastic smooth texture to the risotto. The risotto is getting nice and creamy and white.
Finally, season to taste with salt and pepper.
And now make sure you let it rest for a couple of minutes, which is going to give you plenty of time to cook the prawns. A little bit of olive oil in there. Prawns will take no longer than 1 minute on each side. Don't overcook them, otherwise they're going to be rubbery. So as soon as you turn them, pinch of salt. And, of course, freshly squeezed lemon juice.
Time to plate up this delicious, oozy lemon risotto.
And then add the prawns on top. Look at that. This is incredible. Of course, you have the oil and the lemon juice from the prawns. Don't throw it away, just drizzle on top of the risotto. There you have it, my risotto with fresh lemons and prawns.
All that's left to do is sit and enjoy it with Vera and Saria.
Salute prima. Salute. Salute.
A dry white wine will complement the sharpness of the lemon and the sweetness of the prawns.
It's wonderful.
Is it good?
Yes.
Wonderful.
Where are you going the next?
I'm gonna go somewhere that I've always wanted to go since I was a little boy. Mount Etna.
Excellent.
That's where I want to go because I think it's gonna be an incredible experience up there.
Good idea.
Today I'm beginning at sea level and then traveling up high into the mountains. So I start my final leg here in the coastal town of Giardini Naxos. This is where the Greeks first set up camp when they arrived in Sicily back in the 8th century BC. They recognized the beauty of the bay, which stands in the shadow of Mount Etna. And even now, over 10,000 years on, it is one of the most popular seaside resorts in Italy. Local tour operator Alessandro thinks the reason this part of the island is a piece of paradise is all due to that ever-present volcano.
Alex, the fact that the sand is not yellow and golden like everywhere in Italy, is this got something to do with Mount Etna?
Yeah, Etna sometimes erupt and they leave a lot of tiny stones around the beach.
And that's why it's brown?
Yeah.
Now that I'm on this side of the island, where do you recommend I should visit? What should I see?
Isola Bella is a marine reserve, and the water is so clear that you can count the stones on the bottom.
Nice. Isola Bella?
Exactly. Isola Bella Marine Reserve, yeah.
How am I supposed to get to Isola Bella? With a car?
By car? Look where we are. We have my jet ski ready for you.
I can use your jet ski?
Sure.
No way, really?
Come on.
You would allow me to do so?
Sure.
Nice. Nice.
Okay.
This tiny island of Isola Bella is a 30 minutes fun-filled jet ski ride out of Giardini Naxos Bay.
Wow, this is super cool.
And for me, this is a real treat. It's not that often I get to feel the wind in my gelled hair.
Yes! It's just wow. I love my job.
Okay, time to get back to the day job and start the climb to Etna via the mountainside town of Taormina. This petite town packs a punch with views over the Naxos Bay and Mount Etna, so it's jammed all year round. Its heyday was back in the 18th century, when the rich and arty crowd passed through on their grand tours of Europe. D.H. Lawrence loved it so much, he lived here for 3 years.
And it's also home to the king of Italian pastries, the cannoli.
Cannoli are synonymous with Sicily, probably its most famous sweet. Made from a pastry shell, then stuffed with a sweet, creamy filling of ricotta. Every family on the island has their own recipe for it. But as I'm in Taormina, I have to visit Roberto, the cannoli magician.
Buongiorno!
Buongiorno, come va?
Tutto a posto?
Whose sweet treats have been charming residents, presidents, and even Her Majesty the Queen. And he started by telling me how this popular pastry came to be.
Il lavoro è la storia del cannolo. Gli arabi portarono tanti tipi di dolci, tra cui questo cannolo.
Roberto explains that it all began with the Arabs, who made the shell from plain flour and the filling from an acidic wine and sweet ricotta. Pretty much what they use now, but with sugar and sweet spices like cinnamon.
Deriva dalle canne.
Roberto then went on to explain that the name came from the way they used a bamboo cane to shape the pastry when they fried it.
I'm curious to find out the proper way to make cannolo. Roberto, fammi vedere proprio tecnicamente come si fa un cannolo, dai.
Perfetto. Prendiamo la cialda, mettiamo la ricotta, facciamo piano piano, eh?
Ok. After a quick lesson in stuffing the pastry shell, I'm confident that I can master this. I mean, how hard can it be?
I'm going to make one.
Sì.
Ok, so, allora, la prendo da qua.
Ok, un po' di ricotta.
Un po' di ricotta.
No.
Oh, the other way.
Ok, non
Ok. Devo spingere?
Sì, spingi.
He's telling me to push.
Ancora. Ok.
Che pensi?
Mandorline.
What do you think?
Un po' insieme a me passa.
Yeah? He said, if you spend a couple of years with me, you will make a cannoli maker. Aspetta, la mandorlina.
Dip it in some crushed almonds.
And he said, don't forget the orange skin.
Perfetto.
Ice and sugar.
E te lo puoi mangiare.
My first cannolo.
Ok, bravo. Dammi il 5. Ok, bravo, bravo.
Grazie, ragazzi.
Prego.
Grazie, grazie, grazie. See, now I am the master of the cannoli. And actually this reminds me of a scene in The Godfather when the guy goes, leave the gun, and takes the cannoli. I now know what he meant.
Cannoli safely taken, it's finally time to pay a visit to the First Lady of these islands. Mount Etna is Europe's highest volcano at 3,350 meters. And is one of the world's most active volcanoes, erupting over 200 times in its 500,000-year history. I feel a bit strange because I've heard of this beautiful volcano since I was a little boy. I remember when I was studying at school and you know, we were learning that this volcano was off every now and then, and I just couldn't believe it. So it's quite exciting, the feeling that it could happen. I know that it's not gonna happen. I'm not gonna be that lucky, but I'm excited at the idea that it could happen. It seems to me that this volcano is at the heart of Sicily and its food. and I'm hoping that guide Giambattista will explain why. Tell me, how important is the Mount Etna to Sicily?
It's an amazing place, this one, because in winter time we have the snow, but in the spring season we have the snow and then the melt and the water, and then born many rivers around the volcano, so it's really rich area for the agriculture. We have many different fruit, depend where you're going. You're going around at the volcano and different on the south face of the volcano Etna, you find, I don't know, the apple. On the north, you have the nuts, so it's really rich, the resource.
See, in my job as a cook, maybe one day I can cut myself. There are things that they are dangerous, but I can see, you know, in your job, it can be really, really dangerous around here.
In 2002 and 2003, the volcanic ash climbing for 800 meters from the mouth, and we stay really near, like 400 meters from the explosion.
You also must be a little bit crazy to have a job like this. I wouldn't be here.
No.
I would, you know, what do you do? Oh, I'm working on the volcano that is alive.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's strange, but it's nice.
I wasn't allowed to leave without trying one last strange tradition.
Before you go, you test this one. This is Fire of Etna.
Is it Fire of Etna?
Yes.
This, ladies and gentlemen, is Etna Fire Water, which means it's 70% volume alcohol. And if you are wondering what it tastes like...
Oh, go.
Absolutely disgusting. But even that doesn't take away from what an incredible experience it's been to actually stand on Mount Etna. So how can it get better? Well, I'm about to fulfill a lifelong ambition. Yesterday I was in Etna, and today I'm winding my way through the Sicilian mountain to see a place that I've always wanted to visit since I was 12 years old. The tiny village of Savoca is nestled in the mountains between Taormina and Messina. It's famous for being the location for Corleone in the Godfather movies. Do you recognize this church? It's where Michael Corleone and Apollonia get married in the film. See, to me the movie The Godfather is the way I live my life. It's very important when I give my word that I always keep it, and I always teach my boys to do the same, the respect for the family and to protect the family. So I'm so excited to be here, so excited. And now I'm finally following in Al Pacino's footsteps to Bar Vitelli. In the film, it was Apollonia's father's bar. It's still owned by the same family who ran it while director Francis Ford Coppola was shooting The Godfather. Dario was available for a sit-down at the very table Al Pacino sat at all those years ago. Now, tell me something, how did you manage the Bar Vitelli to get into the Godfather movie?
So, the Francis Ford Coppola staff arrives in Sicily to shoot some scenes in Corleone. Then the mafia asks him some money to shoot these scenes.
So are you telling me that originally they went to Corleone?
Yeah.
And then, you know, the mafia asked them for the money, and then they changed the location and they came here?
Was the perfect scenography, like the bar, the fields.
This bar belonged to your aunt?
Yeah. She was a very strong woman. When they told her to marry someone, she preferred to open the bar. In Sicily, in the 60s, especially in a little town, was like a revolution.
She chose a bar instead of a man.
Yeah.
Very wise choice.
Yeah, very good choice.
Very wise choice. Now, tell me, did she get any money for the movie?
No.
So her aim, it wasn't for her to become rich?
Yeah.
From the Americans?
You do everything for generosity, like, you know.
For Sicily?
Yeah.
I guess.
The spirit of Sicily. This is the spirit of Sicily, yeah.
I've heard that Francis Ford Coppola, when during filming, he used to have about 14 granitas every day. Is that true?
Yeah. First of all, when they arrived here, it was summer. So there were like 40 degrees. I think there was no fridge to have fresh drinks. So the only thing that there was the granita.
It was the only option.
Yeah, but he loved it. And then he took like 14 granitas
every day.
Yeah.
That's crazy. How
That's
can you
crazy.
have 14 granitas a day?
I don't know, but I think you stay fresh. So you should have to try one of it.
I will love to try one.
Okay.
If this flavored ice dessert is good enough for an Oscar winner, then it's good enough for me. Now, your mother, Nuccia, she was a young girl as they were making the movie. Have you got any story for me?
She remembered that Al Pacino was a very quiet person.
I wanted to thank you because this for me is a wonderful experience. And the way I wanted to thank you is I wanted to invite you to have a dinner with me. Can I cook on your terrace here?
Yeah, it would be a pleasure.
Can I be the first one to do it?
Yes, of course. You're at home.
You are the man. Thank you very much, buddy.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Only 2 people have been allowed to film here. Al Pacino and Gino da Campo. And how did I manage that? Simple. I've just made them an offer that they couldn't refuse. Now, enough of that. What I'm going to prepare is veal meatball with a beautiful fragrant rice. And we start right here. I got some beautiful minced veal. So in there, the first thing I'm going to add is lemon zest. And the zest of 1 lemon will do the job. Then add the chopped flat leaf parsley, pine kernels, and Parmesan cheese. Next, lightly whip 1 large egg, which will help bind the mixture, and pour half in. And of course, season with salt and pepper. And my last ingredient is fresh breadcrumb, slightly soaked into milk. And just before you put into the meat, just slightly squeeze any excess milk away from the breadcrumb, like that. I would probably put 2 handfuls. And there is a very good reason why we pour breadcrumb and milk into the meatball. It's to make sure that the meatball are nice and light. Okay? Now the only thing that you have to do, just mix everything together. And the trick is very simple. One hand says always clean, the other one, you do the mixing. I am a big believer in using your hands. It's your light touch that brings together the ingredients without crushing the meat. And of course, if you don't want to use minced veal, don't worry about it. You can always use minced chicken or minced beef. Okay, I'm happy with the mixture. Now the only things that I have to do, roll them into little balls. And remember, whenever you roll them into balls, make sure that you don't press it too hard, otherwise they're not going to be nice and soft. And this is also a fantastic recipe to do with your children. I mean, prepare the mixture and they just can roll the balls. Keep it in the family. Once your balls have been rolled, heat the oil in a pan, and when it's hot, place them in carefully, making sure they keep their shape. Look at that sizzle. It will take around 5 minutes to crisp them up. The secret of meatball is to make sure that you coat them nice and crispy all around, but in the middle, still nice and tender, because now we're going to finish them off to cook with white wine and other magical ingredients. So get a good quality white wine and pour straight into the meatballs. I'm using 180 milliliters or a medium glass of wine. Add a couple of bay leaves into the sauce and straight away tomato puree. About 2 tablespoons worth will do the job. A little bit of beef stock, about 500 milliliters worth, and season with salt and pepper.
Now the final thing that you have to do, make sure you mix everything together and scrape the beautiful little bitten pieces on the bottom of the frying pan when you were frying the meatballs. Looking good, looking good. Now the only thing that you got to do, cover it with the lid and be patient for 20 minutes on a very low heat. And your patience will be rewarded. 20 minutes have gone by, and I wish you could smell what I'm smelling right now. The wine, the stock, the bay leaves, incredible. Okay, switch it off, and I'm gonna show you how to plate this. So, serving plate, and what I got here is rice. Now, what I've done to the rice is very simple. Long grain rice, I boiled it, drained it, put it back into the bowl. Then I had some dried cranberry, and I soaked the dried cranberry into white wine. You only have to do that for about 5 minutes until they start to plump up. Then lemon zest again, a little bit of salt and pepper. Only thing I'm gonna have to add, finely chopped flat leaf parsley. So that goes in there. Just mix everything together one more time. There. Put in the middle of the serving plate. Add the meatballs on top. I probably want to give about 5 per portion. Okay. And the final touch, the gravy that you prepared straight on top. Polpette di vitello cooked right here at Bar Vitelli. Dario, I just want to say thank you for this amazing experience, my friend. But now I want you to be honest, and I want you to tell me what you think about the food. I got a little bit of the Moroccan influence.
Amazing. It's really, really fantastic.
It's good, is it? Dario, I would like to say salute to you, to your family, and to all Sicily.
Salute.